All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I want to make this video as short and sweet as possible. Where's the sneaker market going? What is the state of the sneaker market in, today's day and age with tariffs? Nike stock is extremely low. It's at like $50 right now, 50 something dollars. From its peak in 2021, it was about 170. Where are sneakers going as a whole? Is sneaker reselling still a viable business? And to give you the quick answer, it absolutely is. I can show you guys screenshots right here. People I work with, somebody made 40 something thousand dollars in less than a month in sales. Plenty of other people selling hundreds of pairs per month. And now you might be wondering, okay, these people are making all this money. Where's the state of the sneaker market and where's it going to go in the future? Now, there's really only, I'd say, a couple of ways left to resell. That being, I would say probably Whatnot. A lot of people are having success on Whatnot, and it really only works if you are okay with going live and are able to get a lot of shoes for dirt cheap and then sell them for dirt cheap. The second thing would be consignment on StockX. Honestly, it works very, very, very well, and that's where a majority of the people I work with have a ton of success. And a lot of that just has to do with selling older SKUs, making $50, $100 margins. You could still easily clear six figures doing that. The third would probably be, honestly, buying stuff for retail, but there just isn't that much to buy for retail. So the question begins, like, what do we do now? Where does the sneaker market stand, especially with majority of the pairs that we're selling are Jordans and Nikes? Obviously, I know we sell different pairs, but again, most of these shoes are made overseas. They're not made in the US. I personally don't think tariffs are going to be something that are just going to go away right away. I think it's 100% going to affect the sneaker market. I think that the higher sneaker shoes really are, probably the less people are going to buy them. Again, I think that's really going to affect the people that are buying stuff for retail, really newer releases. I don't think people are going to be buying newer releases, which goes to my tried and true method, which has worked since the time I started probably a decade ago, is again buying for resale and reselling for more, buying pairs that have already settled, that aren't affected by tariffs, that aren't going to keep getting re-released. That simply is just going to have to be pairs that are from 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it might be. All of those pairs will do tremendously well if you want to continue to resell them, because the general consumer is not affected by those. They can still go on StockX and buy them if they want and not pay those. So I think in terms of the general consensus of the sneaker market, it's still completely fine. Are there a lot less methods that you, in theory, could do? Absolutely. I think the most bulletproof method right now is getting on StockX Consignment, StockX Flex, which I can help, whoever's watching this video, you just DM me on Instagram, I get you in. Once you learn how to source for that specifically, you will do completely fine. Now, in terms of pairs that I think will do tremendously well long-term for sneakers, right now what I'm seeing for Jordans is Jordan 4s still, Jordan 3s, Jordan 11s, and Jordan 12s. There are some Jordan 9s that do decently well, but like we saw recently with the flu games, I sold a ton of those in men's and grade school. We can plop up a sale right here. One of them was for like 350 something, early pairs, made a bunch of money on those. So it still very much is profitable. You can still make money on pairs like that. The biggest thing is honestly how much you sell for. A lot of people don't like to say, but it's how much you sell the pairs for. If you can sell for significantly above market, it doesn't really matter what you pay. So that's the biggest thing I would say. Again, the only way you're going to do that is through consignment, Flex, StockX, or any other platform. You could sell on Whatnot. It's a lot more volume. I know people selling like 3,000 items a day. They have huge warehouses, but their margins per pair, might be like $2 to $5, if not less. Speaking of the sneaker market itself, I will say, obviously you guys are all seeing a lot of the stocks are dropping. And I know this doesn't have much to do with sneakers, but I think it still correlates to some degree, because at the end of the day, we're investing in, something to make more money. And it's pretty much the same as stocks. I would say for anyone that has capital or, money to invest, if you're going to do anything, probably stay put right now. There's a lot of panic simply because of the tariffs. And I think if we look at, again, something that we're all familiar with, Nike stock, the last time Nike stock was at $55 was in 2018. If you were around in 2018, I'm sure you know what the market was. There was nothing wrong with the market. It was completely normal. I think a lot of stocks in general, whether that's Nike or really any stock, like think of any stock off the top of your head, they're simply overvalued, very, very overvalued in terms of, many different things. We went through an inflationary period for, some time. They printed a ton of money. If they print a ton of money, obviously everything is going to go up in price. And another thing to also kind of look at is like, it sounds corny, but we're talking about someone that's been doing this for 80 years, or I don't know how old he is, but Warren Buffett basically sold all of his stocks 3 to 6 months ago, and it's just sitting on a bunch of just liquid capital, just cash. And I think that goes to show that we probably will see a massive correction pretty soon. So if you have capital and you want to do anything with it, I'd highly, highly, highly suggest don't put it in the market for now. Typically, from what everything I've seen and done, those take quite a while to play out. It's not like it drops in 1 month and goes back up the next month. Typically those take about 1 to 2 years to fully recover. So keep that in mind. If you want to make higher margins, really stick to, I know it sounds crazy, but just lowball people online for their sneakers that they bought a while ago, and then simply just sell them on Flex, on StockX. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I probably will be starting a stock channel, which I'll leave down below. If you guys want to watch that as well, I've been getting a lot into that. It's been something I feel like I understand intuitively, similarly to sneakers, where something my brain just registers pretty easily. I guess it just works for me in terms of like pattern recognition and all that sort of stuff. So if you guys want to get into that, I've been personally seeing some pretty fat profit margins with the trades I've been doing. And it's honestly like, it's a lot easier than sneakers because you're not actually touching inventory. You're buying, undervalued stocks and holding on to them pretty much. So that's that. Thank you for watching today's video. If you want to continue, I'm more than happy to help on my Instagram. Just DM me. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.